wouldn't society be better, especially America, if you had to enlist in the military? Like, if you had to live a life like that?
It's a very good question,
Would you take
man.
more pride in our nation? And like, I don't think there'd be as much hate. I don't think there would be as much toxic environment on social media if everyone had to serve in the military. Because you learn, like, you kind of learn discipline. You learn the value of life. Some guys, the majority of them go to third world countries. You see what other people live like.
Yeah.
There's huge discipline. You have to work as a team.
Yep.
You realize what matters.
Yep.
You're not, in your mom's basement criticizing those who are doing things that you would never think of doing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see a lot of military guys hating on the internet.
Well, I don't know. I do think that's always been a contentious issue. When we did have a draft, look up how long we had a draft in this country. And I think after Vietnam was when things got...
That's when it stopped, right?
Yeah.
That's when Muhammad Ali obviously had the issue.
Well, he had the balls. That was a pretty ballsy thing for him to do.
100%.
But at the end of the day, the draft came to an end when the United States Armed Forces moved to an all-voluntary military force. However, the selective service system remains in place as a contingency plan. Many male citizens between the ages of 18 and 25 are required to register so that a draft can be readily resumed if needed. There you go.
Draft
ends in 1970, right after Vietnam. That's right.
There you go.
So this country's always had a very contentious issue in terms of there was always the worry that a standing army in this country would be historically abused. So throughout history, when you had a standing army, you had an army that was ready to go. A charismatic leader would come to power, like Napoleon, and take control of that standing army to then control the population
Nazis,
and rule the
Germany.
Population. It's just what would happen.
Yeah.
You'd always have a charismatic dude who would figure out a way to control the
Mongols.
military. Yeah, everyone, and still goes on in the world today. And the United States would that was the large question. But we had to ultimately have a standing army because we had threats from the British, and we had to be yeah. But we were surrounded by oceans, so we had the luxury of having time to deal with that. But I think I do agree that if you had a military draft, I think a lot of people would gain a great deal from it, especially young men.
Who they have all that aggression anyway.
And by the way, also maybe it would also when you are put in the military from the age of 18 to 20.
What are you doing those years anyway?
You're trouble. It keeps you out of trouble, probably.
But also you learn kind of a foundation of how you should kind of live the rest of your life. Respect, work well with others.
Working well with others, being exposed to, like you said, to other countries. I've always said, as a guy who grew up all over the world, if everybody in this country would just spend 1 month abroad, anywhere, just to see how other people live, we'd have a very different foreign policy. We'd vote very differently.
Have you ever met like a real military guy who's just a tool? I haven't.
I probably haven't.
I come from a military family.
Yeah,
I haven't.
Well, one of the things
just like, God, that guy's such a tool.
Yeah.
Never.
So one of the things I said to my dad after
I'm sure they're out there. I've never met them.
My father was a Marine and always talks about this. And one of the things I noticed about when I went to Afghanistan with Steve Byrne and Dov Davidoff and Sam Tripoli, we went on that USO tour. It was amazing. One of the things I noticed about being in a war zone was that it's all about the dude or the gal next to you. You come last. It's country, it's platoon, it's outfit, and then it's ultimately you come last. But so when you see dudes in a war zone, everybody, say there are a bunch of bags in a truck. The one thing I noticed is that everybody helps. It like you don't even think about it. You're not getting your bag. You're getting other bags first.
Yeah.
So everything about that, coming from Hollywood, and I'd been in Hollywood for so long, where it's all about you. It's all about
narcissist.
It's just about, you are the center of your universe because that gets rewarded.
That's
it's the way it is.
Though. Yeah.
In the military, it's the exact opposite. And there's something very refreshing. And guys and gals get addicted to that community, that thing where you're all, and when you're in a war zone, you're always afraid and you have to rely on each other. You create real bonds. In stress situations, you create, you actually produce oxytocin, which is a bonding chemical.
Yeah, and I say the close thing, I've never been in combat, but the close thing would be fighting in the UFC,
Sure.
you guys go through this weird experience that only you two can go through. I'd love to see the science behind it. Maybe there has
been
you
done.
you release the same toxins.
You do.
Because
Not toxins. It's a chemical. It's a bonding chemical.
bonding
It's about
chemical?
bonding hormone called oxytocin that a
same
woman.
thing that woman their baby.
That's right.
Gotcha.
And
So
then-
I'm assuming you develop the same release in
You
your
do.
body when you go through that
Under
experience. 'Cause
stress.
even if the guy beat me up, say Travis Brown, whoever it was, there I'd go in the back and there was no anger, there's no resentment.
Well, think about
It's like, oh, we both went
But
through
think
this.
about you and I. Like think about the bond like of starting out with Joe when Rogan told you to stop fighting.
Yep.
The decision to keep doing the podcast,
Yep.
to let it out. That shit is that stuff's stressful when it's happening. It's not pleasant.
stressful.
And
We've
there was a
been
lot
through
of unknown with us.
How about when I called you when I was like, I got us kicked out of Fox? Remember that?
Yeah.
A lot of it's on me. A lot of it's on me. And I was like, a lot of it's just on me. I'd call Bryan. I was like,
Well,
hey, man.
well,
Well, remember?
Let's start with that.
Yeah,
well, I might have made some enemies. I'm like,
Yeah, you're like,
what do you mean
what?
we've been locked out of we got locked out. We just couldn't even go into the building.
well, we got to figure something out, man. You're like, oh, God.
Oh boy. Well, I guess we'll be just a ride or die here. Here we go. Yeah, man. So I do think that a draft. I've always kind of felt like a draft. But again,
make a nation closer,
now,
right?
You're also forcing people
I know.
to join a government military outfit. And,
But at the same time, look at the way, like,
most countries have a draft.
most countries have a draft, but also, like, the way our society's going, especially the younger generation, ain't good. Like, look how toxic social media is. It's very
I don't know that being in the military would. I do think that a lot of people.
I'm saying we give them perspective.
Yeah. I do think a lot of people from the age of 18 to, somebody said if you want to get rid of all the crime in the country, all you got to do is just take every 14-year-old boy and keep him in basically a military-like outfit from 14 to 20. You'll have zero violent crime because
Yeah.
that's the age that. So I do.
I'm not saying it's the answer. I'm saying it'd be obviously you can't. We're not going to do that.
I don't think-
But then here's the thing. Let's say we go to war with Iraq, which we might because Trump's stupid enough. Let's
No,
say
Iran.
Let's say we're able to do that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Iran. Let's say we're going to do that, and your son was
That'd be a
18.
disaster.
And your son was 18.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Sorry, he's in the draft." I'd be like, "No, he's not."
Well, so that was Vietnam.
How tough would that be if that's your kid?
That was the scarring of Vietnam, where so many people came back and they didn't even know where it was on the map, and they went, "I'm going to Vietnam." And
For
those
what,
guys that
man?
went, what did we
Yeah.
lose? 54,000 guys,
man.
and a lot of them came back weren't the same anymore. And we were like, but wait, it didn't do anything. Oh wait, the North invaded the South, and it's a communist country. And wait, you guys told us that we had to stop. We had to stop this domino effect. So the idea, we have to stop the domino effect because the world's being taken over by communists.
Correct.
So we don't stop them here. We did it in Lebanon. We did it in Greece. So now we got to do it again in Vietnam. We did it in Korea.
Well,
We did it in North versus South Korea.
That's why there's a big outcry, right? Like they don't want. That's why Vietnam was so.
Well, the crazy thing is that we
controversial,
were winning the war. I mean, the fact of the matter is the U.S. military fought very well in Vietnam, and the Tet Offensive was actually a huge success by America. It was a huge success when the Viet Cong tried to take over. But when you saw it on camera, it looked like we got our asses kicked, and it changed the way the American public looked at the war.
But so
it was a turning point in
Who's
the war.
broadcasting that? Because if it was coming from
Walter
American,
Cronkite,
but why broadcast us losing? Like why not paint the picture like we're whooping?
It wasn't
ass?
that we were losing, but what made news was the sensational stuff, the pictures of a girl on fire after a napalm attack as she's running toward the camera. Americans went, "What the fuck is?"
What are we
and
doing?
seeing the caskets and seeing the military, the young men who were wounded horribly and killed. That came into American living rooms, and it sparked it sparked massive protests
for the first time, right?
Hey, yeah.
Because World War II, not really 40s. That's not getting broadcast.
Well, remember,
that's on the radio.
And remember, in World War II, the fundamental difference was that we were fighting
had an enemy.
We were fighting the Japanese and
we
the
had an
Germans the Japanese had attacked us.
Yep.
They had attacked us.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that misery.
Ooh, I don't want to see those, Chin.
It's
Chin, do you ever think about going to the military?
No, the reason I'm in this country is because of that reason. My parents didn't want me to go to the military.
Yeah.
Oh, because in Korea you have to enlist in the
Yeah,
military.
and my
Like,
dad
Korean
was-
Zombie did like 2 years,
2
right?
years, yeah. I think 2 years.
It's hard service in the military. The Koreans are very hard men. The culture expects hardness out of their men. There's no, they're a tough.
The
tough
women
group.
don't have to do anything, right?
The Korean Tigers who fought in Vietnam were feared.
Great name.
They were feared. They were pretty badass. The guys I know who served in Vietnam said that the people that they thought could endure the biggest hardship were the Koreans. They were just like, the Korean Tigers were just like fucking, they blew their mind. They were just like, they were all like Navy SEALs. When you see my back ripple and I pull myself up like a chimp 30 times bang, while talking to you, why wouldn't I give that to you as inspiration?
It's a gift, really.
It's a gift.